Why don't we use visible internet? What's up, y'all? My name is David with RV Family.Life. I've lived in my RV for over 2.5 years, this one right back there, with my family, my wife Tanya, our 2 daughters, and our dog Daisy. I got a question recently about why we don't use visible internet, and that was brought up on our T-Mobile This is the End video about the T-Mobile home internet. Thank you so much to Chris McGraw who gave us this comment. He was asking why we don't pay $20 a month just to use visible, in reference to T-Mobile shutting down the home plan. Thanks, Chris. If anybody else has questions, let us know. I'd love to answer those. Visible internet has been around for a bit. We've been YouTubing for over 4 years, and we've met a lot of full-timers, and that used to be a hot topic of discussion, was using visible. And one of the reasons for that, visible had a way of basically lowering your monthly plan by getting other people to join through your link. Sounded a little bit like something like Amway, where you get more people to join and then you get kind of discounts and everything. I was never thoroughly interested in that, especially the trying to sell it and get other people to join. It just didn't really appeal to me. And the other factor too is that Visible uses Verizon towers, and I've never been a real big fan of Verizon. Mainly because of their customer service has been terrible, a little bit mixed with high prices and contracts that they used to have. I will admit I haven't looked at Visible in a couple of years, just kind of had an early preconceived notion. And so before I made this video to talk to y'all, I wanted to do some research and really get up to speed on current Visible knowledge. Visible knowledge, that sounds funny. I've learned that Visible apparently has been bought out completely by Verizon. Their website says Visible by Verizon. They've got 2 different plans. It looks like $25 for just the basic plan and then $45 for the plus plan. So they've got some options there, and they are looking rather appealing. I will say that just going through the website, I see some positives that could potentially work for us. And I'm going to break all that down in this video, just kind of let you know. But let's start off with the cons real quick. So my first thought is that, because everybody, when they say, why don't you use Visible? They're like, you can use the unlimited hotspot data from your phone. Well, that sounds all good until you're living this life, right? If I'm hooked up and connected to work, and then I need to go take the dog for a walk, I usually like to take my phone with me to get some steps on my pedometer on my phone. What happened to my connection to work? It just left with me to go walk the dog. So that kind of a situation is not a good situation for me to be in, because anytime the phone moves around, I'm going to lose connection. And now I actually have 2 work laptops, which means double the usage. Both of them would have to be reconnected, and the new one is even more difficult to get reconnected. So I need something that's going to sit still with those work laptops and not pick up and move around. So I was thinking this could potentially work if I had another phone dedicated just for the Visible wireless. And that is within the realm of possibilities. We have several phones right now that I could possibly get to work with it. And in fact, my current phone, this OnePlus phone, it's a OnePlus 9 Pro, has been frustrating me over a number of things. Like when I want to film a video and I instantly go into it and I start trying to film and it's just jerky and unusable, really angering me. And then recently we were in Idaho watching people jump off a bridge, and I wanted to zoom in on it, and it would make the phone overheat and reboot right in the middle of the action. There was only 2 people jumping off the bridge that day. So that to say, it's been on my mind to look at another phone for me for personal everyday use. This 5G phone would then just be sitting around. I don't tend to trade phones in. I could possibly use this as a bring my own device with Visible, get it up and running, and use it for that purpose. So that is something that I could potentially play around with. Now, the Visible Plus includes ultra wideband 5G, but only in major cities. Now, we don't tend to go RVing in major cities. So while that seems like a pro, and it can be, it's not necessarily all that useful. There are other pros, though, to the Visible Plus, why it would still be a better option for me. But just marketing that part, like, oh yeah, it's got the ultra wideband. Yeah, that's great. if you're out in the country, that's not going to be all that usable. So I would kind of discount that. If you're someone that goes into the cities a lot, it could be great for you. When we try to be back with family in the San Antonio area in the wintertime, that could be a pro. That could actually benefit us. So, but most of the time, we're off in the middle of nowhere at a campground, and so that part doesn't really benefit us. Now this next con is something that anytime I've ever looked at plans for any of the companies for the last 10 years, I always go into the fine print looking for this detail right here. And that is, data speeds will be capped after 50 gigabytes used for the month. I don't like that, and let me share why. Before we sold it all and moved out of our house to go traveling, I used to track how much data we were using at our house. Now we were using excess because we could. There was no limits, there was no caps. We had Spectrum internet at home. We were using about 2 terabytes per month. You know, some people may think that's excessive, but they're really overlooking the fact that more and more things want to have internet access. So capping data is hurting the future world where we're in the age of the Internet of Things. When your refrigerator wants to be connected, your dryer wants to be connected, your thermostat wants to be connected, everything wants to be connected, and it all wants to use some data, right? So you've got all that going on. You've got multiple TVs in your house. Everybody's got tablets. You know, I'm pretty sure the kids had Netflix up streaming on the TV while streaming Amazon Prime on a tab and running Minecraft on a laptop all at the same time. Did they need to be doing that much? No. But now let me bring you up to speed in the future when we're living in this RV and we were in a pinch where we could only get AT&T, and I found these deals. It was a tablet deal that gave me 100 gigabytes, period, and then once it was used up, it was done. And I thought, you know, we ought to be able to make that work. 6 days. Now we're much more lean. We're not excessively using it. We still went through 100 gigabytes in 6 days. I had to go out and keep buying that data plan. I had like 5 different accounts with them just to make it through a month. So about, I would say, 600 gigabytes we use in that month. If Visible is going to start reducing my speeds to after 50 gigabytes used, we're not going to make it. We're going to really kill that. Now, it doesn't say what it will limit it to. It did only say that it's only going to limit you when you're competing with other people that haven't already used up their data. So it would have been nice in the fine print if they would have at least defined what they're going to limit us to. Because if they limit us down to the point where we can't do anything at all, then that becomes completely useless. So to me, that's a pretty big con, and that bothers me a lot. I could probably make that work for work, but I could not run the rest of the household with that 50 gigabytes. So let's look at some of the pros here. Affordable prices of $25 and $45. Those are some attractive prices, that's for sure. That's, of course, if you've already got your phone. If you have to finance the phone, you're going to have extra charges on top of that. You can pay annually and save up to $145. That's a new deal that comes with the Visible Plus. So if you just pay for the whole year, it gives you a discount of $145 for the whole year. I think it was $395, and you're like, hey, I'm good for this whole year. You can bring your own phone or buy a phone from Visible, and they use the Affirm payments. So like if you need to utilize a payment option rather than pay outright, because the phones can be $700. It looked like they had the newest Google Pixel 9 for $699. You can pay it outright, or you can finance it with Affirm, which is going to have some finance charges. Now, the finance charges are no fun. It means that you're going to wind up paying more for the phone. Looking and thinking about T-Mobile, when I financed stuff through T-Mobile in the past, T-Mobile had 0 interest. Just going to put that out there. But there are a lot of other charges, more expensive plans such to that. So it's happening out there, but that was with really good credit, things like that. So there are options through Visible, get those lower plans that can make it all work. And then as I was scrolling down, I saw other things like if you've got a smartwatch, you can get service for the smartwatch. It's $10 if you have the $25 plan, but if you paid the $45 plan, your smartwatch can get all on the plan for no extra charge. That's pretty nice. And then they also offer discounts for the Verizon Home Internet. Now, Verizon Home Internet is a competitor for the T-Mobile Home. So that is something that I have thought about. In the past, when I'm thinking about I need to add another option, could I get the Verizon Home Internet? So I'm going to put this question out to everybody that's watching this video. Has anybody taken the Verizon Home Internet on the road, and does it work? I'm curious to know if anybody's given that a shot, or do they have that tied down to one address or one tower? Let us know down in the comments how that's worked out for people. Now, if you're somebody that you're just out traveling part-time, or any timer as some people like to call it, and you go out for 3 or 4 months at a time and then go back to your house, and you're just looking for something, you don't need to work on the road, you just need a phone, you need to be able to stream some YouTube while you're out on the road, I would say Visible probably would be a great option for you, and I would look heavily at it. Like, get in there, check it out. I think that they offer some great opportunities. Will this work for the family of 4 that's full-time on the road, that's homeschooling online, watching a bunch of YouTube videos, playing Minecraft games constantly, and amongst other games? And then this guy who's over here working, I'm running 3 laptops for work. My personal laptop is actually where I do all my research and training for work. Then my work laptop, and now a secondary work laptop. I'm using a lot of internet. So will this work for me? I don't think so. I think that this is going to be a failure. So if you're not like me, if you're in those other categories, even if you do full-time, but you're retired and you're no longer working on the road, look at Visible. I think this could work well for you, just based on how much you're doing. But I don't know, maybe you're that guy that plays your Xbox, plays Madden football nonstop. Maybe it's not quite enough for you. So before I found Connect 10 Internet and went with them as my backup plan to my Starlink and my T-Mobile, it was on my mind to look at this Verizon option. We had used AT&T sporadically, not overly impressed. A lot of times AT&T's speeds have just been not great. In fact, where we are in Utah at the moment, the AT&T is like 4 megs down and 3 megs up, and it's just like, that's not great. I don't know what Verizon is at the moment. I could go through the steps with Connect 10 to get it switched over. So what I wanted to bring up was I was thinking about Verizon as a backup to Starlink and T-Mobile. I went down the path with Connect 10 because it seemed like it was going to be a really good option and would give me 4 different networks, even though everybody says T-Mobile is going to get bought out by, or US Cellular is going to get bought out by T-Mobile soon, so there will just be 3. The $120 a month is a pretty steep price to pay for, I would say it saved our bacon maybe 2 weeks out of the whole summer, but yet I paid the $120 the whole time. And I'm just not sure that that was the best option financially. Connect 10 is a lot of work to maintain it and keep up with it, just to make everything work. It's not plug and play. It's super easy to use. So Tanya and I are talking. We may look at picking up Visible instead, just as a backup going forward. T-Mobile, we're still holding on, waiting to see if they're going to shut us down, as they've threatened to do so. As I've said in the videos, it's the end of being able to use T-Mobile Home. I'm hanging on to it. I'm going to keep it running, because if it does get shut down, I want to show you guys and tell you all what happened, how it played out, and let you all know. Now, if I wind up paying the extra, let's say I wind up paying the $160 a month for T-Mobile, and it keeps working at the speeds it's been working at, it's been pretty reliable. A lot more reliable than people expect. T-Mobile has really impressed me. I don't want to pay the $160, but if I kind of replace that, I wind up with a similar pricing scheme to what I've been paying with Connect 10. If I drop them and pick up Visible, will that give us the coverage that we need? Basically, we would lose any chance or hope of AT&T, and then we carry around Visible. Now, Visible most likely does not have the option to suspend the service. You're going to have to keep paying for the service all the time. T-Mobile does have the option to suspend the service for 3 months at a time. A 3-month suspend doesn't really work all that well for me, because we're moving a little bit more frequently than that. So Starlink being able to suspend for a month at a time is nice. We're about to go to a spot right now where I know for a fact that T-Mobile works amazing. I will not need Starlink for the whole month of September. So I already shut it down, and then I'll reactivate it in October when I need it again. Connect 10 does offer the option to suspend the service for a fee. I can't remember, I think it was $20 a month. So you just go from $120 down to $20. That is an option. I've kept it active throughout the summer as we were moving quickly through Washington and Oregon. And I was really worried because of the trees. Washington and Oregon have some epic, very thick, very tall trees. And I'm like, Starlink is probably going to have a problem up here. So that's why I wanted to have an extra option. So now going forward, I think that we will take a look at a possible change. I don't know when I would need to make the change. I do fear a little bit of extra fees and taxes that may come along. Because, you know, that's something that was so appealing about T-Mobile for the last decade. What they advertised to you as the price is what you paid. If they said $150, then it's $150. You didn't get surprises. Verizon, we had Verizon before T-Mobile, and man alive, it was ridiculously expensive. And then they tacked on all kinds of taxes and fees later. I don't like those kind of deceptive business practices. That's what made T-Mobile appealing. They're like, hey, here's the new guys. I know people don't like to hear that they're the new guys because they have been around for a while, but they're the new guys as being one of the predominantly big companies competing with AT&T and Verizon. They're the new guys in that avenue. You can't overlook them anymore. I don't know. I'm scared. I'll do some more research on Visible. If we do go down that route, I will share it all with y'all so that y'all can keep up with what are the other great options. Now, somebody had mentioned to us a while back when I started doing these videos about the internet that we should try all of them so we can share them all with the video. Hey, that is very appealing. Unfortunately, I just don't have the capital to try everything. I've got a certain amount per month that I can play with. And, you know, sometimes things surprise you. Come along like new tires in the front of the truck. Some of those kind of things are a little bit more important than trying all the internet. So there are other YouTube channels out there that focus predominantly, it's all they do is mobile internet. So I just want to give a quick shout out to the Mobile Internet Resource Center. That is the YouTube channel that I have always looked to. And if you're really serious about this, those guys are awesome. Guys and gals. It's a couple that started it, and they focus on both internet in the RVs as well as boating. They cover all new plans, old plans, they cover it all. I could never hope to cover all that because I don't have the time to put in on this. All I can do is kind of supplement what they're doing. So I would use them as your primary source and then come back to me to see how I'm applying it to our everyday, day-to-day life. That's more where I'm focused, and I feel like I can provide you guys some honest feedback on how it's gone, how it's doing, because I'm using it, like really using it. And so I can get to see where the hiccups are gonna be, where the problems are gonna be. But if you wanna know every new plan that comes out, go check them out. I have a great appreciation for everything they do. I'd love to be able to do that with them or like them. I can't take the time away from the job that finances our ability to live out here on the road like this. I'm blessed with a good job, and I need to make sure that I take care of that job. Well, that's all that I've got today to talk about visible internet and visible phones. I just wanted to kind of bring that to you. Thanks again to Chris for bringing up that question. If you guys have any other questions, anything you think that I could answer or help out, or really anything RV life related, you can reach out to us in the comments section. You can email me at david@rvfamily.life. You can reach out to me on Instagram. I had somebody recently on Instagram that just got into the RV life. They used to truck all the time, and they're going to live stationary down in Texas, and it's hot. And he was hoping somebody could help him. He sent me a message, how can I cool down my RV? It's hot. And we had maybe a 30-minute long conversation through chat, trying to give him some ideas on how he could get his RV cooled down. So, I mean, if you all of a sudden flood me with 100,000 questions, I doubt I'll be able to get to all of them. But whatever RV questions you guys have, bring them on in. I'd be happy to help in any way that I can help. All right, thanks again for watching our video. We hope that you'll come back and watch more videos. We do reviews of RVs, reviews of RV parks, and show you some of our adventures, like visiting places like Wenatchee, Washington. So come on back, watch some more videos. Remember, life happens. Even your internet dropping in the middle of a video. Don't let that stop you. Stay fresh, cheese bags.